Hi everyone, welcome to another week on Trail Runs on YouTube and the podcast as well for some trail tales where we're speaking to inspirational runners who have stories to tell. And this week I'm joined by Alison Walker, who is an ultra runner, an Inov-8 Ambassador, and has done some pretty crazy challenges as well along the way, and runs a lot of miles as well, I believe. So yeah, we're going to hear about her running and her journey into it, because I think the ultras started fairly recently, so we'll dig into that. But thanks for joining, Alison.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you for making the time to come and join us in this. I know it's a bit of a busy time for you at the moment with various projects and work going on as well. So really appreciate it. Just going into your running, then I'm keen to hear where it all started and this progression really of your running. How if you always run?
So I guess I came to the UK in like 2006 for uni, and like I think I really started running around then, but nothing serious, like this 5K every now and again. Like it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think I saw myself as a runner. Like I joined the uni running club, but it was basically just drinking club really. I don't think we did much running. And like yeah, so I mean it was just like a way to be outside, make friends, I guess, and like socialize, I think. And like the people that were in my uni running club, like they're lifelong friends, so like I spent a lot of time with them. And yeah, it's just like somewhere you go to socialize. It sounds really bad, but yeah, because there was like a group of really serious runners as well who like, yeah, I guess like they actually train, whereas we just sat around and like drunk a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, then that kind of followed me all the way to when I moved to London. And like again, it was a new city, and like I just started my grad job and stuff, and so it was just an easy way to meet people, because I mean I did work at a big four, so like the culture is quite a lot of drinking and quite a lot of socializing and entertaining. And I didn't really I mean you kind of had to do it, but I didn't really like it, so like I needed my own social life, that was not really just boozing all the time. But then again, the running club in London was, you run about 5K and then you spend like 2 hours in the pub. So so yeah, it's a similar thing. So like I think I was quite happy doing that until I decided I wanted to run a marathon. And then I had done one before, but I didn't train for it, so I think I did it in like 4:18 maybe. I think I hurt for a long time. But
what year was your first marathon? How long have you been running for before you started to do that?
I think it was Couch to Marathon. I think, yeah. So I think it was like 2010 maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, I did that one.
Which one?
London. So I got through the ballot. So everybody told me I had to do it because I got through the ballot.
Yeah,
apparently never happens. No, so I got through the ballot and I got in.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones. I think people sometimes people get into the ballot or people don't get into the ballot. And I had rejections for about 7 years, I think, before. And then I decided to run good for age became my target so that I could run it.
Yeah. But you know, at that time in 2010, I think they said if you had 5 rejections, you got in automatically.
Yeah, there was a period where they did that.
Yeah, so that was me saying, okay, I'm going to apply now. It'd probably take me 5 years, so I probably won't get in. So then I got in and I was like, oh crap. And then like, I mean, I didn't realize like what a big thing London was, because I never grew up in this country, so I didn't know. And then obviously I turned up to London and I was like, oh, there's a lot of people here. So yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, then yeah. But even then, like after the marathon, I was like, never again. And then next thing you knew, like, moved to London, and then kind of, yeah, I guess it was quite busy at work. Like sometimes you work till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like there's just no time, and you just yeah, it's just running is just for sanity. Like you don't really have time to train, and at the time, like I was just not really interested. So, and then I think 2011, maybe no, not 2011, 2014, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, one year I got a place to London, and I thought, look, this is the time I'm going to try and run under 4 hours, because like, apparently it's like, you know, the thing to do, like you have to do under 4 hours to be like. I was like, okay, fine. So I did a bit of training then, but even then, like I was just kind of like, oh, like, I don't think I was running as much as I was now, like maybe max 35, 40 miles a week.
Yeah.
No speed work, no nothing, just kind of just and I managed to come in, I think 3:55, and I was really happy with that. Like still, I think I could still remember how happy I was when I crossed the line. And it all kind of just, I think one day I got drunk in a pub, and then I signed up to an ultra. Well, no, my husband really wanted to do an ultra, so when we were drunk in the pub, we signed up to an ultra. It was his idea, he wanted to do it, and we were going traveling that summer, so he was like, before we go traveling, like we should do something crazy. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So we did the wall, the rat race, the wall. But my husband and I ran it together. Like we were like, don't really know, because he's way faster than me. He's like a sub 3 hour marathon runner. Like, so we were like, okay, let's just run it together, have fun, blah blah blah. And then I think we did it in like 14 hours something. We just like, it's like all day out, just go like, and then I think I fell down, I think at 50 miles, like really scraped my knee and like all sorts, and I was just like, never again, never going to do it again. And then we went traveling for about 4 or 5 months, I think. Went around Asia and stuff, so I didn't do any running, but it was just mostly just, you know, being a traveler and like just
did you not fancy
exploring?
Not fancy running in different locations, and it just didn't appeal?
No, because we were kind of backpacking. Like we packed some trainers. I did go for like a little jog around like Ho Chi Minh Lake, and like we did a bit of like sightseeing, running around China, but that's it. Like like running at that time wasn't so much part of our lives. So it's kind of just like a go out, get some fresh air, and then come back. Like we didn't have to run. It was just, oh, I've got time, let's go for a run. And it's quite hectic, like the schedule that we packed to go around Asia. Like we just like, I don't know, I think we did, how many countries did we do? So we went to China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Myanmar, Malaysia, Singapore, and so about 6-7 countries, like quite in 4 months. That's quite a lot. So we didn't really have time, so we just fit in whatever running we could if we wanted to run. But sometimes we did things like caving as well, which was quite tiring, so we didn't really feel like running after. Running kind of didn't really come back in until when we came back from traveling, and then we had our wedding and stuff. So maybe 2018 I started to look at running again.
Okay, so
so like I dipped in and out, but like I think 2018 I decided, read a book because my physio recommended this book. It's called Running Up the Hill by Vassos Alexander.
I know the one.
It should 100% come with like a warning at the front, because I think he's a very talented runner, and like he makes everything sound really easy or like really appealing and like attainable, but actually it's actually quite hard. Some of the stuff that he was trying to do, like it's really hard.
He's quite a big marathon runner, isn't he? From what I've read a couple of his books, and I know that he's done quite a few big challenges and, you know, big races as well. He was making it sound easy then.
Yeah, he did. Well, not easy. He made it sound like
achievable.
Yeah, but then I didn't realize that he was actually quite a good runner. But he was so self-deprecating in the book that you just went, maybe. So the race Spartathlon, like the way he like described it made it sound really appealing. So like I thought, right, I'm going to sign up to 100 miler and I'm going to try and qualify. Which actually now in hindsight, like what a stupid idea. Like I don't know why I thought it was achievable.
So
Yeah, because I think if you said it to anyone else who knew what they were talking about, they'd be like, you're crazy. Whereas, but at that time, I knew no one who did ultras. I didn't know anyone. Like most people I hung out with were like quick marathon runners. So they had no idea. And like, yeah. So I didn't even know who, I don't know, I didn't even know who Dan Lawson was. Like that was how like, I just didn't know. Like I just decided I wanted to do it. And
yeah. So it's just a totally new thing. I'm intrigued actually as to how you felt after doing that first ultra, the wall. Did you know when you finished that? Did you then have it in your head that you wanted to do more, or was it just
no,
you'd done it,
no,
it moved on?
yeah, it kind of felt like one of those things like you just wanted to do and just get on with it. Like, I thought the agreement between me and my husband was you get it out of the system and then we're done. Like we don't have to do it again. Because I think like mile 63 or something, like it was really weird because we were trying to run together, but he was shuffling and it really hurt me to run at his pace. So I was like, goodbye, I'm going to go. So yeah, so I think we left each other for like the last 5K because I was just like, no, it really hurts because it's either walk or run, not shuffle.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I decided to run and leave him behind. But yeah, we didn't really think much of it after. Like we didn't think, oh, what else could we sign up for? I think that was it. Like,
it was a one-off.
yeah.
Then tick the box and
yeah.
On. Cool. And then
So
you obviously got the inspiration to go to it again then.
Yeah, because I guess we come back from traveling and then got married and then like did all the adult things and then we were like, oh, what next? And then read the book and I thought, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have a go. But also at that time, I broke some ankle ligaments, which is why I was seeing physio. Yeah, because I'm really hypermobile. Like I think it's just the way I was born or whatever. So like, basically like got tripped up and then rolled my ankle and then somehow snapped. You know, like the three deltoid ligaments that wrap surrounding your ankle, and like basically 2.5 of them had snapped. Like I think the doctor said like she doesn't think that it's all been done from that incident. She thinks that it's already been like somehow jarred or something before, and like that incident just. So yeah, so it was quite like quite a depressing time because like even though at that time I wasn't really running for competing, I was running like for fun, like, and like all my friends were runners and things like that. So I was just like, what do you mean, right? I can't run. So and then the physio was like, look, you don't have to take surgery. Like you can just go and try and rehab it, and like, oh, here's some inspirational books for you to read to like lift you up a bit. And like, I mean, he's a physio I've known for a long time. He's quite a good friend of mine. So like, yeah, so like, it's more like a friendly kind of, oh, go read these books.
Yeah.
And then so I think from there it kind of snowballed. So I said to him, oh, I'd really like to qualify for it, but I'm just not sure my ankle. Because everybody says, oh, you should go and try one of the Centurion races. And I'm like, yeah, but what happens if my ankle doesn't work? Like mile 50, like I've got to be shuttled back. And then he was like, oh, what about those like looped ones? So I found this race in Dover, maybe in Samphire Hole somewhere.
Okay.
So it's run by the SVN lot. So I think they run races every week, but before COVID. So yeah, 100-mile event, and it's like 27 loops. Yeah, but it wasn't that bad running. But yeah, for me it was an exit. Like I could exit anytime, without having to be shuttled back in pain or whatever. It meant that I could have access to all my stuff, and it meant that if my ankle played up, I could just get picked up and just go home, rather than like have to deal with drop out at a checkpoint or like try to get to a checkpoint. It was just too much for me. So I just thought, whatever. And like Spartathlon, they don't really care where you get qualified. As long as you get it done, it doesn't really matter. So I was like, right, okay, deal. but yeah, the only problem was that when I did it, it was in March, and based on last week, do you remember the weather?
Yes, yeah.
Pretty much like that, maybe even worse.
Really?
Really strong winds. But then I think people were like, well, you did sign up to like a seafront race in March. I was like, thanks guys. But yeah, so so it kind of started there, and then got the time, and then
so how long did that take you to complete that one?
21:36.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't complete it well though, like pretty much like death march the last 10 miles because I didn't have the right kit. So I wore this 30-pound Ron Hill jacket, which apparently has tape seams, but like I was wet underneath, and it was freezing rain, and it was still windy, and I just got really cold. Like I think I finished. So I think my husband was there, so he was like, "I'm gonna go get my coat, like my big birdhouse coat, and like whatever layers I can find." So I finished with like a puffer jacket. No, 2 puffer jackets and like a big birdhouse coat. You know those 3-in-1 coats? Yeah. Because I literally I just got cold, and like once you get cold, it's quite hard to warm up again. So
especially if it's still raining and windy as well.
Yeah.
You just can't. If you're wet and it's windy, it's so hard to get warm.
Yeah, my feet were soaked as well. So it's just like it's not just the upper body that was wet; it was like the whole body that was wet. So it's just kind of
what a way to spend your first 100-miler. Gosh.
I know, but I think it could be worse, couldn't it? Like I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds pretty horrendous. I've run in some bad conditions, and it's not nice. So you must have doing that. You must know that you've got the mental strength for the
Yeah, I think I'm just quite bloody minded. Like if I want to do something, I'll get it done. And like I don't know, if I don't want to do something, it also works that way. Like if I really don't want to do something, I will actually not do it. Like I will give you a million excuses and not make it happen. So yeah, so my willfulness works both ways. So yeah, and that was one of the occasions where I actually was like, right, I already got to like mile whatever, I'm finishing this, because like otherwise because you get there's no other option. Well, there's the option of DNF, but like for that amount of effort, like you might as well just finish it. So
yeah, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same with a lot of races or long runs and things like that. I get into the mindset of I've come this far and done this much. Like I'm not dropping out now and stopping. So I might.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna play on my mind less. So.
Yeah, and it really piss you off like 2 weeks down the line when you like, maybe I should have. Yeah. So
you got that done. That's impressive. First 100-miler, and then you got.
I mean, it was an easier 100-mile. It wasn't like
was it
a really hilly. It's like a country park, so it's quite like undulating, and some of it's like gravelly tracks, but then overnight it all became mud and like became waterlogged. So I don't really know. I like to go back there one day when it's not a race to just see what I actually ran on, because like I don't know.
Can't remember.
No, can't remember. Just wanted to get it done at that point. So yeah.
And you got the time that you wanted?
Yeah, I mean anything under 22 at that point was just whatever, I'll take it. So yeah.
So then what came next after doing that then?
What did I do next? I did a few.
Did that spur you on to look at other challenges and races that?
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, because I lived in London, like I didn't really want to sign up to any races that required me to travel too far to like. This is even before COVID. Like I'm really lazy. Like I don't really like to drive to somewhere and then run somewhere. Like I just try and make the most out of what I have. So like then I guess the next thing was, I think someone said, oh, why don't you sign up to 24-hour race? It's like, okay, yeah, I'll try it. So I applied to Tooting, and then I thought, I'll never get in, because like they made it sound like it's really hard to get in, blah 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 blah. And then I thought, since they've got such an experienced field, chances are I probably won't get in. So then I got in, and then I was like, crap. So yeah, so then I started training for tooting, and I did a few smaller races in that summer. So I think I did like a 50 miler in Essex somewhere. And then what else did I do? I don't even know. Can't remember. I might have done like some longer training runs with my friend David Bone, like in the night, just to try and get used to running like a bit more, because that was the 100 miler was the first time I ran in the night.
Right.
And then turned up to tooting, and the weather gods again were on my side. We had like one of the hottest days like in September for ages. I think it was like, so it peaked around 30.
Gosh.
And tooting is quite exposed, and like people were like vomiting everywhere, and the whole place stunk, and it was just not very pleasant. Like it was just awful, like, and it was just carnage everywhere, people dropping out, people just like puking in the middle of the field, and you're like, oh. And like, yeah, it was a bit, yeah, but like some people did really well, like Joe Newens and like Rob Payne, like they just constantly running around, and you're just thinking like, I don't even know how you do this. And I think Joe was from Scotland, so that must have been pretty bad heat for her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, just running in the heat like that is tough going anyway, let alone running around in circles on an exposed running track.
Yeah,
I just can't imagine. How did you find the heat?
I don't like the heat at all. Like, I know I come from a hot country, but I don't run in my country. In fact, you barely see me outside, like walking in the heat. Like I take a taxi, or like I get drive everywhere. Yeah, all the shopping malls are air conditioned, so like I don't really.
Yeah.
I refuse to step outside because it's horrible. It's hot, and you just end up sweating all over, and like it's just, yeah. So yeah, I don't really like running heat, which is why like if I chose my A races, a lot of my A races are in the winter, which is bad because COVID is like, yeah, and then, but it meant that because I chose some A races in the winter last year, I did manage to race before COVID, so it was good. But yeah, I really don't cope well in the heat. Like I just really people go, oh, there are lots of ways you can manage it. It's like, you know what, like it's better things to do in my life, like, and I'm not gonna go and sit in a sauna for 20 minutes or like after every single run, and like, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like if it is a race and you've turned up for it, you just get on with it. But I know like I just don't like it.
No. So doing tooting, did you have to manage your nutrition pretty well in terms of taking on fluids, or were you?
Well, the thing is, you have a plan, don't you? And when the heat comes, you just refuse to eat, and that was what happened to me. Like, I was putting stuff in my mouth, but my body didn't want it because it's just like, no, it's too hot. So I just like put a shot block in my mouth, and it's set in my mouth like for a few laps. It's like mouth doesn't want to chew, body doesn't want it. So I think after about 100k, I've stopped eating. Yeah, it was just not very good. So I think my husband was my crew, so he was just trying to mix up lots of drinks. It's like, have this. I'm like, no, I don't want to eat anything, don't want to drink anything. Like it's just horrible. And I think only in the night I started eating again, and then yeah, but by then I think my body was like, no. So yeah, it's just hard because I guess 24 hours is quite a brutal race. Like it's not, people think it's easy, but it's not. Like that, there's no views. Like you can't just go out and look at the scenery when you're like having a tough time. It's just you and the track, and the mental game is quite hard. Like, and especially if like the weather's not good, or like I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, if people master it, I think they can do it quite well because everything kind of you can control ish.
Yeah.
But
so how did it go for you? Am I right in thinking you ran around like 185k or something? Is that right?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I think it was close to 186. I don't know, like 185 point something. Yeah, but
how many laps?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. But I think I went into the race like thinking, like, because there were lots of really good women in there, like, yeah. So I mean, there were lots of women that I looked up to and like thought, like, oh no, I'm going to be like last. I think that was my fear. But yeah, but I think because the weather like really didn't help anyone, they managed to come third, which was I thought was, yeah, but like yeah, it just wasn't a great race for me, but I don't think it was a great race for everyone either. So like
well, the thing with that,
yeah,
everyone's in the same position. You're all battling the same weather, and you're all in the same race. So,
but it's just such a shame because like there's this Norwegian girl who like was just metronomic throughout, and then I think she got pulled off the course because she was just really ill, and yeah, it's just like, oh, that really sucks because like I think she was still way ahead of me when she pulled out, but obviously like when she pulled out at like 8 a.m. there was still 4 hours to go. So even if I was walking for another 4 hours, like you quickly caught up. So yeah, but I think the thing with 24-hour races as well is like you just have to stay on the track, like don't faff around too much, just stay on there, like even if you're just death marching, stay on. Because it's really weird because you just, if you look at the leaderboards, like apart from like maybe the first two people, like they were up there most of the time, but like further down, like people who started at the back slowly crept up because like chances are people go off too fast. There was a guy like within the first 3 hours like lapping everyone like every few, and we were just like, don't know what pace he's going at, like why is he going so fast? And then and then at the end of the day, I think when it got dark, I think he just sat down for ages and like ate pizza or something. I don't know, it was just really weird. Like it's just funny to watch what everyone else was doing, but I knew that I wanted to stay on the track for 24 hours, so that was the goal. Like it wasn't like after 100 miles that you stop. It's because some people, they just stay on the track for until 100 miles and then they just quit. But like I knew I wanted to try and experience the full 24 hours, like as sadistic as that sounds. So yeah, it's just it's one of those where you put down to experience runs.
I mean,
because I think I haven't been doing ultras. I think I was only doing ultras for like 9 months, if that. So yeah, crazy, I know. But
don't do. I mean, I can't even think about attempting a 24-hour track race, but I know that a lot of people do them, and maybe one day I'd like to do it, but I just can't get my head around just the repetitiveness of it.
But I think people use headphones quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really like listening to music when I run because I like looking around and like speaking to people and stuff. Yeah. So, but I think that helps because a lot of the good people all have headphones in. So I think it must be the answer.
Is that? Well, you did pretty well because am I right in thinking you broke some records as well?
Yeah. I mean the bar isn't set very high, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I mean it was a record breaking run apparently. But cool. Yeah, I mean I don't really run to beat records. I just, if it happens, it happens. I run because I like running, and
it's a nice
it's nice to have. Yeah.
Which records were they?
There was like 5 or 6. I can't even remember. I think it was like, I think I might have even broken the 50K. I don't know. There were loads, like maybe even the 100K, which I then betted in January.
Did you?
Yeah. So I always wanted to run a sub 10-hour 100K after my 100 mile because I thought that's a good mark. And like given that I could barely run the sub 4-hour marathon, like when I first started running, I thought it would be really nice to break that mental barrier because sometimes you go, 10K an hour, that's really fast, and then so for me it was more like a mental barrier to try and break because I know like lots of people can run like 8 hour 8:30 9 hour 100Ks, but like for me, it was a big mental barrier. So like, yeah. And
awesome. Where did you do that then?
I did it on one of Lindley's Flitchway 100k.
Yeah.
And it was like, again, it was like, it's very low key. Like, it was only £25. I don't understand why nobody wants to sign up to it, because it's only £25. I think it costs more for me to get there and get back than to than to run the race. It was like a 10k loop, like out and back 10k, and it was like on a disused railway.
Yeah,
Have you heard of the Flitchway?
And the Flitchway Marathon, which is one out and back. Same course, one of Lindley's races as well.
Yeah. So it's just along that railway line.
Yeah, it's quite a nice path to run on, isn't it? It's quite.
Yeah, except that on the day before, because it was quite windy, one tree had fallen. So every lap we had to climb over the tree to get out, and then climb over the tree again to get back. So try and do that 20 times. It was like, by the 20th time, I was like, Lily, next time can you please cut off the tree? Like, put it somewhere else. Like,
not what you think when you're trying to break 10 hours as well, is it? Added obstacle.
Yeah, and also it really hurts. Like, I don't know how your hips are when you run ultras. Like after about 50k, it's like, oh, it's like a big effort to try and get your leg over something, and like something as big as a tree. You're like, don't know who decided to put this here, but yeah, no, I think the race for me went well-ish. Yeah, I set off too fast, had a few pacing issues because I kept panicking, going, I need to bank time, even though I know you shouldn't be banking time. But yeah, I somehow managed to save that one. But yeah,
I mean, pacing's hard, isn't it, in ultras? Everyone says you should set off slowly, and then it just feels too slow when you set off. But I think over time you build that reassurance in yourself that you can actually progress, because you have so long in which to do it as well. It's kind of reassuring yourself that you're going to make it up. But I've been there and gone off too fast, and I've learned from my mistakes. So I try.
It's just really hard, isn't it? Like, it's just like mentally, like, oh, I know I definitely will slow down after. So yeah, I don't know.
It's just having confidence in what you're doing. But yeah, it's something I've certainly learned over years.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting to go off slowly when you're racing and going off fast. So yeah, and so when was that? That was last year.
Yeah, so that's January 20. So January.
Just before COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID. Yeah, just before COVID, and then and then I think I broke both the men's and the women's record in Malaysia for that 100k, which I'm like, I didn't really know until after. But yeah, then again, like, I don't really try and, like, it's nice to break it, but at the same time, like, I don't want that to be like the ceiling, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't want it to, the reason why I don't look at things like that is because in my head, then I'll start thinking about, like, oh no, if nobody in my country's ever run quicker than that, then surely it's within my genes, and therefore I can't run faster. So I stopped looking at stuff like that, because it's just not worth it. Because nobody knows what training people have been doing. So so my coach was like, stop, like, just run your best, and then we'll see after. So so that was probably my last A race, and then I was going to turn up at Crawley 24-hour to try and fix everything, because I'm that sort of person. Like, I need to, like, try and rectify things, and then that obviously got cancelled by COVID. So there were a few others, like 6-hour races that I did, but there were more like training runs rather than actual actual A races. So
yeah, sure. I mean, that last year was going for everyone, and you seem to, from what I saw, you seem to keep training hard throughout. I mean, I think I clocked at one point the amount of miles you ran last year was you know, it's a lot of miles, but you're used to high volume training anyway, so it's all relative. But were you training hard all of last year?
Kind of, and like almost to my detriment, I think, because I thought, oh, got lots of time now. I'm gonna try and like train hard and like try and like I don't know what I was trying to do. But anyway, like it was, you know, when COVID like made everything really uncertain, like running was like my controllable thing. So like I just went mental. Like I mean, the volume was the same, but like I found that I was running harder and harder and harder. And it's just I don't even know what was going on in my head, because I think at one point I said I wanted to do another marathon. So because the December before Flitch, my coach said, okay, let's go and run a marathon and see where your fitness is, and like see like what sort of time we should be aiming for the 100K. So I think I did one of the Phoenix. I don't know if you've heard of Phoenix running. Like they run races like every week, every day. And I at that point as well, I wanted to try and get a Boston qualifier, because like I felt it was one of these like bucket list races that everybody talks about, and I'm like, well, let's go and see what it's all about then. And I like that Boston was like a qualifying race. Like you don't just turn up, and like it was hilly. I quite like a few lumps in my course. So yeah, so I turned off my watch. I know like people like to know what they're running, but like for me, again, like the marathon again is like another mental break. Like I can't, like I don't, anything under 3:30 at that point was to me like just unachievable, because I've never run at that kind of pace. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna turn my watch off, like completely turn off, and then just run. So like and then I managed to run 3:17, which was like for me like really good time for me. So then I wanted to do Boston, I wanted to do all sorts of things. So when lockdown happened, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try and train for a marathon. I don't know why, because I thought, well, if I can do a 3:17 just off the cuff, like without any taper or anything, then surely I can run faster. And then so I started doing a lot more like fartlek sessions, like stop doing more track sessions, and then it's just a bit, don't know, out of control. Like I had a coach, but he was just like, do what you like. I'm like, okay. And then
what's your weekly volume of training? What do you tend to do a week
at that time or now?
Let's go back to then, that time last year.
So around 100 miles a week. I think it all averaged out about 8:20s, 8:15s maybe, including all the recovery runs and stuff, which really is quite fast. So it was probably verging on going a bit excessive, I think. And then because I don't know why I wanted to run a marathon. I don't even remember now. Like, you know, the COVID thing, like everything in your head just goes like funny. And then when lockdown lifted, my friend David Bone was like, let's go and do some FKTs. And then it started that other cycle of crazy things. So we started off, he was like, do the one at Epping because it's nearby. We can like cycle there and then do it and then cycle back. Like, okay, fine. So went to Epping, did that FKT, got it. It's like, because no women wanted to do it. And like, I don't think I was far off the men's. I think I was maybe 5 minutes off the men's for an 18-mile course, which
that's impressive. It's
not bad. But then since then, like all the fast men have all clocked on and have gone and made it even quicker. And then did some other one in London, maybe Jubilee Greenway. And then there was another one, Capital Walk, maybe. It's not the Capital Ring. And then the Capital Ring. And then the Smog.
Just going FKT crazy.
Yeah, so I think I did 5 in lockdown, which I mean, most of it went past my house, which was quite convenient. So because I used to live on Victoria Park, so all the along that canal, like a lot of the FKTs go by that canal, and
Yeah.
like I live on the canal, so it's just get out and then just turn left or turn right, and you're on the FKT route. So it's quite handy.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
you did the Smog, which
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
very long.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, this is so that it's the Smog Graham Round, which is named after sort of the Bob Graham Round, and the idea is to visit all of the London peaks. Is that right?
Yeah, all 32 boroughs, all the peaks of London, 32 boroughs.
32 boroughs. And how far is the route?
300k.
Is it a set route, or can you take any?
Well, you can go and pick your own route, but actually, I'm so bad at picking routes that I just use the one on the FKT site.
Right.
Yeah, and also
like navigate.
Yeah, which if you have like a breadcrumb navigation watch in London, it really doesn't work very well, because it's not like trails where it's clear where it's left or right. It's when it's London, it's like which road, like so it's a bit harder. But yeah, it was a bit mental, I think, towards the end, because it's not like the Capital Ring or like the Jubilee Greenway where you sometimes get signs to say this way.
You just,
the Smog is like random mixtures of like bit of the Capital Ring, bit of the Jubilee Greenway, bit of the London Loop. It's like, so it's not a certain path, so you just kind of have to make it up. So yeah, navigation was fun on that one, and at the time, like, you could go and recce it, but it's quite a lot to recce, and and then sometimes due to COVID things get shut, or like had to go around a golf course which was shut clearly. So yeah, it's just all a bit challenging, I think.
It ended up being 300k, which that's a long day out, isn't it? Or a long few days.
A long few days out. Yeah.
How long
it was like 55 hours. It wasn't very quick at all. Like it's just towards the end, it was just mentally draining. Like it's one of those where I think I just wanted to stop, but my will was like, you carry on, because you've already done like 2 days worth of running, you better finish this. So
5 hours, that's
that's way too long. Like it's just like, it's the longest I've been out, and I'm not entirely sure that I'll do it again. Like did
you sleep at all?
I tried to. So my crew got my husband basically got me in the car. He was like, lie down, try and sleep. And like some of those breaks were like an hour, like of trying to force me to sleep, but I couldn't sleep. So like wasted like a few hours just trying to sleep. And it's just, guys, this is not working. I might as well just be finishing this. Like, so but again, it's like more of those like lessons learned for like anything long, but I don't really fancy doing it again. Like
you're not in a hurry to go and do it again?
No. No, it is quite a scenic route, but at the same time it's also like quite a busy route, so sometimes you were running on the main road, and it's just
I did a couple of years ago, myself and a friend went and did the Underround. Have you heard of that one?
What's that one?
So that is to visit 42 tube stations. So it's based on like the Bob Graham Round, and there's a route, or you visit them in order, and you go from the you have to go down to the platform of each station and then up again.
Really?
Yeah, there were 42. I mean, it's nowhere near as long as the route that you did, but I know from that, like, navigating on my watch was hard, and I plotted a route, but we ended up having to run down like the middle of Oxford Street on like a Saturday afternoon, to avoid like buses and tourists, and it was a crazy experience. But I think that was about 30 miles in total, but it's the elevation as well on that, because you're going up and down. But another challenge for you there to go and do.
No, I don't live in London anymore. I don't have to. It's too far.
I'm intrigued though on the Smog round, because we were saying earlier about nutrition and eating during an ultra. I mean, how do you fuel yourself for 55 hours?
I was better on those on the Smog, because I think it wasn't as hot, so it wasn't too bad. I had some McDonald's, I had gels, I had all sorts, like basically whatever I wanted, I had.
You're just having
Yes, like a few day picnic really. But yeah, I mean towards the end though, like my mouth was just full of ulcers because I think I've never had it before. I think once your body gets into that really tired state, like everything just flares, doesn't it? So like my mouth was just really full of ulcers, like, and the only thing I could drink was like, you know, those drink mixes. Just had to just drink them for calories to get around, but it really hurt. I never want to do it again. Like, and my tongue had ulcers as well. It's like, so yeah, it was just a bit painful. Like everything was painful. So that was the only time I struggled, but otherwise I was all right. Had Coke. Coke seems to solve all life's problems. I don't normally drink Coke. It's only on ultras I drink Coke.
I'm the same. I made a thing to not drink it years ago now, and I don't drink it as like a day-to-day drink, but during an ultra it tastes so good.
Yeah, but day-to-day it tastes rubbish. Like I'm like, I don't understand why I drink this on ultras, like, because you think, oh, I'll just order a Coke. It's like, that tastes horrible, and then in ultra it's like, oh, this is heavenly.
I know. Which McDonald's did you opt for?
I normally go filet o fish, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I like the tartar sauce.
How did that go down during the ultra?
Yeah, really well, not a problem. Like, yeah, like, I mean, it's just like a long day, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But
wow.
Yeah, it just kind of just had to get on with it, really. But
so impressive, and I'm intrigued by, because London's obviously not mountainous, or it's got a few hills, but what are classed as the peaks? Where do you have to is it just like
some of the central London ones were a bit rubbish, like the one in Tower Hamlets, which is the one where I live. It's so flat, like you couldn't even see an incline. I would say that it's flat. And then obviously you've got so Primrose Hill isn't the peak. There is another hill behind it somewhere. So some of those were like peaks, but they're not really peaks, really. Like compared to what I'm running around now, like it's really quite flat. Yeah, a lot of it is really quite flat, to be honest. But you went out to like Biggin Hill, near Kent, and like, so that was a proper hill. Yeah, so once you got out of London to the outer London boroughs, they were proper hills, but like the ones in London were a bit, you sometimes question, like, is this made up, like, or is this it, like, so yeah.
Did you ever question whether you were in the right place?
No, because I think we had recorded where all the peaks were, so as long as you reached them, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's Pole Hill as well in Epping Forest. That was a nice hill. Yeah, but even then they were quite low. They were quite low hills. They're not very big.
No. I mean, what was the sort of? Do you know what the elevation gain was in total?
Oh, it's not a lot. I think it was like, not sure. It wasn't very much. I remember thinking, oh, this is quite flat.
And has anyone gone and done that since you? You know?
No, because I think everyone probably saw the map and thought, yeah, this navigation is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and also like it's lockdown, isn't it? So
true. Yeah, there hasn't been much of an opportunity. When did you do it? Was it like September time?
Yeah, so it was when everything was just about to go back into lockdown.
Yeah, made the most of the opportunity.
Yeah,
no, and I'm intrigued. What was the recovery like from that for you?
It took ages. Like it really took a long time. Like, I think I was able to run again, but I don't think system-wise, I don't think it was there for a while. I tried to race again, and that was like a really bad idea because that really showed like body's not ready. So I think I really should have just taken like a month off, really, rather than try and train for another race. It's just because I'm quite new to this whole endurance thing, and like my background, even as a child, was nothing active. So like this, you know how some people go, oh yeah, I've never done anything like that before, but then you actually find out that they've been playing hockey and football since they were and been playing football or like rowing or something like that since they were children. But like I lived quite like a sedentary lifestyle because as a child, like I mostly like played the piano and like conducted choirs and stuff, so like everything was just set down. So so I didn't have any of the endurance base, or my body wasn't used to like things like that. So and like I kind of didn't respect the amount of recovery that I needed. And also I've only done ultras for like 9 months really. I know some people, they go, oh yeah, I'm really new to this, and then you look back at their records and they're like, they've been doing ultras for like 6-7 years, and you're like, of course, like of course you know all these things, because I don't. So it's just learning to like respect the distance and then respecting your recovery after. It's just have to.
It's hard, I think, especially when you're doing something that you love doing and you don't want to, you know, you've enjoyed the training, you enjoy the process of training and getting out there and doing it, and then the last thing you want to do is stop and recover. But
I mean, when I say stop, it's not like stop completely, but it's more like, you know, not be in training mode and just like go out for an hour every day, like fine, not a problem, like rather than like trying to like get ready for another race. Like it was just like I knew deep down like it wasn't going to happen, but I was like, they're plenty new races, so I might as well just go. But I should have just listened to like that niggling thought in my head going, what are you doing, why are you doing this? And so it's just bit me in the arse really. So but just have to live with it really. So
you're all recovered now, and you've moved further north, haven't you, to train in some proper hills?
So I mean, over summer, like I think, so my husband and I have been talking about like moving out of London for a long time anyway. So, and then this working from home thing, and like our company's basically saying like things like you don't have to be in all the time. So we just thought in summer we started like going around Yorkshire and just like looking at different areas and things like that, and then kind of settled around the Calder Valley, which is where we live now, so like near Hampton Bridge and things like that, because it's like a little town, it's got lots of shops, and so just kind of settled on place, and then offer accepted, everything moved through, and then we just moved up. So so it's just, even now like the training that I'm doing is kind of getting used to the terrain, because the running here isn't easy, and like it's like deceptively hard. Like okay, it's hilly, but it's not just the hilly that you've got to deal with, it's also the underfoot. So like the more that I run around here quite a lot, like apart from the Studley, which is what I consider a road run now, because it's predictable, like it is pretty much, it's all runnable, it's hilly but it's runnable. But the moors here, like the first time I ran in it was a little bit boggy, it wasn't too bad, and then I think it was just like 1 or 2 days after it got even more boggy, and then it got icy, snowy. It just changes, and it's knowing where to like place your feet, and it's some bits where when you step you just go really deep, and it's just great. So but I mean, you look on, so I mean, I don't really do Strava, but I do this for my sanity, is to look at some of the segments where I think, why am I not moving very fast? And you look at the segments and you see people that you know who are like world-class runners, because there are quite a lot of them here, I don't know why. You've got like lots of like, you've got Holly who lives up the hill, and then you've got some other really good fellow runners who live here, and you look at the segments and they're not moving very quickly. Okay, they're moving quickly compared to me, but it's like, it's not what you think that they'll be running at, and they're like experienced people who've lived here all their lives, and just think, right, so basically you start the watch but you don't look at the watch, because it's irrelevant, because it's different things that you're trying to train. You're like training like your ankle and your feet and things like that. So it's just all a bit of a learning curve. Like I've been here maybe 3 months now. Even then it's still there's still bits that you go, oh well, like you stop obsessing about pace, you stop obsessing about distance or anything like that. You just go, it's an hour's run, we'll do it now. That's it. Like,
yeah. I think that's the interesting thing, especially going like probably for yourself from somewhere like London, where you're doing probably more road running and flatter running. Somewhere like that is it's a totally different mindset. I think the training.
Yeah.
Not looking at average pace all the time, and you're training your body in a different way. That I'm sure you'll see the benefit of in the ultras and the endurance events.
Yeah, but I guess here as well, you also have to make a conscious effort to do good quality training, because it's easy to go out to the malls because it's really beautiful and nice and like you get all the views, blah blah blah, but half the time you're just bog trotting, like but so like nowadays, like, okay, at the start I didn't do that, because at the start I was just like, oh, this is new, I'm just going to explore. So now, like once or twice a week, I will go and find like a decent trail loop or like a less boggy part, and then just try and do some actual running. But even then, like some of the gradients up here, like because we live in a valley, and you have to get out of the valley, and it's really steep. Sometimes you just have to go slowly out. 11-12 minute miles, like sometimes just normal, and you're running, but it's just really steep, and it's just as quickly as you can go, really, but without killing yourself for the rest of the run. So
it's a balance.
Yeah. So that's cool. But it's fun. Like I don't regret moving here and get a lot more space and things like that. So
awesome. It's quite a change, but a real positive one, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. And like I think once you get out of London, people are a lot nicer, I think, and like less like, and it's less, I think, because there's more space, people are less like, I don't know, agitated maybe.
Less on top of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what's this year got in store for you? I know everything's a bit up in the air at the moment, but you've got.
I don't know actually. So I mean, I'm signed up to the Backyard Ultra in Suffolk.
Oh no,
so
that's just up the road from me. So.
I'm Thetford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got that in my diary, but apart from that, that's it. Like I'm still trying to work out what kind of racing I want to do. Like, because obviously I've now moved here, but like I wouldn't call myself a fell runner or a mountain runner yet, like, or anything to that extent. So just trying to have a feel for like what kind of events are like more for me. So I mean, at some point in the future, I like to do the spine, not rushing into it, because I'm not ready for the weather and the terrain, and it's a bloody long way to go. So like, it's just, just having a feel for things and just seeing what I want to do. It's just difficult, because it's like you've kind of left your comfort zone of flat running, and then now you're like in somewhere else where it's really difficult to train on the flat. In fact, there's nothing flat here apart from canals, but canals are really busy. So I don't really, well, when I say busy, it's not as busy as London, but it's like, why do you want to run the canal when you can just go up on the moors? So so it's just kind of trying to balance everything out, and trying to work out what I want to do, get used to the terrain. And then I guess when racing comes back, then there'll be a bit more choice, but not really. I'm not one of those who like sign up in a panic and then go, oh no, and then I'll just wait and see when things like settle down. But
that's kind of the approach I'm taking. I've not rushed to sign up for anything major. So
because then you get disappointed, I think.
No, that's very true. Like you do all your training and then it gets cancelled.
And like I'm not a fan of virtual stuff. Like I just can't. I can't. Like it just doesn't motivate me. I'd rather go and play on the moors than to like, let's go and do this event. Like, no, I'm good, thanks. So like I know when people train for stuff and then they get disappointed and then they get driven to do like a virtual thing. Even when I've trained up for something and then there's a virtual thing come out, I'm like, no. So I just yeah, I just kind of I'll just wait. Like, I mean, it's still got time. Like, it's not a life and death scenario, is it? Like,
just enjoy what you can and see what happens.
Yeah, because I'm sure like races will start coming back soon, and then we can then assess. Hopefully, backyard goes ahead, because I think that one might be quite fun.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see who like how bad the course is, because I saw a few pictures. It looked quite muddy, but I
guess it's the weather. Because when is that one scheduled for?
June, so it's got plenty of time to dry out.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, like, the mud's nothing compared to the mud up here. So
fine. Yeah, no, I look forward to seeing how it goes. If you get to do that, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice. And I think, yeah, hopefully Lynley gets all the right approvals and everything, and then we'll go ahead. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like, can't control, so just go. Well,
you just have to kind of go with it, don't you, and see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's a shame for the race directors, because I know a lot of them put effort, into trying to make these things happen. So
it must be quite stressful as well for them. Like,
yeah.
Especially like people don't give guidance, and what do you expect them to do? So yeah.
No, it's hard. So yeah, hopefully things will get back to normal, a bit more positive, which will be good.
Yeah.
No, thanks very much for joining us this evening and giving us an insight into your running and journey and crazy 24-hour and 300 challenges and all the stuff that you've been doing. It's fascinating to hear about your journey, because you only got into ultras properly a few years ago, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing where that journey takes you over the next few years.
Yeah, I don't know either, so I'll be intrigued to see.
Where's the best place for people to kind of find out about your running and what you're up to?
Probably Instagram, I guess. Like, I don't really do any other updates anywhere else, because yeah.
What's your username on that?
I think it's like _ Alison Walker _ I think.
Okay.
I don't even know.
I'll put a link in the notes for the podcast and the YouTube show.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, it's been great. And we'll be back next week here on Trail Runs. In the meantime, you can find out what we're up to on trailruns.co.uk and on Instagram, which is @trailrunsuk, and on Facebook as well as Trail Runs UK. So I'll see you next week. Cheers.